I remember I had a piece I made a few years ago and it was a pig. And I just loved that pig. It just had the best personality. You know, I've always been a busy child. I always wanted to be active. I always needed my hands to be busy. I always kept them moving, and I still do today. I'm Janice Brydges, and we're right now at the Montague waterfront in PEI. I started felting because I've always really enjoyed a tactile kind of experience. You've got to work the fibers so that they blend together. There's a lot of rolling and wetting, and I just really kind of enjoyed that experience. My husband and I have always enjoyed traveling. We retired and then we taught for 2 years in Singapore. I just really love to see the different cultures of the world, to see the similarities that we have with all people. And often that correlates back into my work. And I also really love seeing what creative processes people are doing elsewhere. You draw inspiration from all of that. Most of my pieces, I would say, are inspired by things that I see in nature. Being in PEI, you're surrounded by nature and water, and how can you not kind of feel that creativity that comes from that?
There was a robin in the bird bath having a bath the other day, and just the way it was perched, it was the iconic robin picture. They're all little ideas that you kind of store away, and you feel like you'll never have time to do all of the things you'd like to do. My name is Anne Jay, and this is my home in Cardigan, PEI, and I do rug hooking and rug braiding. We had a large family. There was 5 biological children, and then my mother did foster care, so she had 26 amongst her own 5 kids. We grew up on a farm. I remember getting up early as a child, like 6 o'clock. You'd get up, get your chores done so that you could go play, and it was a great way to grow up. You learn to be a good worker and all of the stuff that goes with being part of a family. In the farmhouse kitchen, there was a junk drawer, and in there was an antique hook, and I was always enamored by it. I found out that the hook was actually a hook that my grandmother had used. She had made a room-sized hooked rug with that very hook, so maybe it was in my blood. So I decided I would take part in community school, and I thought, oh, I'm making a rug. I was so excited. Got my first little striped mat done, looked like something that you'd buy at Walmart. I love contrast and color, and I dye my wool for myself. I buy it off the bolt, I'll buy it dyed, I'll do transition dyes where you lay different colors of wool over each other, make some interesting pieces.
The more I'm in it, the more I'm willing to try different materials in my felting. And I'm just experimenting now with creating some sculptural things. I've also used some stitching into my felting as well, and it kind of creates a little bit more dimensional work. There is a little bit of unpredictability of how the wool is going to respond. I may set out for it to lay in a certain way, and it just doesn't do that. After I end up wetting it and rolling it, it's not exactly where I wanted it to be, but there's a beauty in that, and you kind of have to accept that process for what it is and then work from that. I think even artists sometimes get trapped into this sense of you have to produce, you have to sell, instead of just kind of enjoying the creative process.
The second year that I was part of Artisans on Main, I had 14 pieces in the gallery, and I sold 11 of them. But it's not a product that you can whip up and restock in a hurry. It's time consuming, so it's not like mass production, let's get it out there. And I'm not one to hook things that I think, oh, somebody will buy this. I want to hook something that I'm enjoying doing myself. It's about the process and not so much about the selling.
I do a lot of pieces that I hope to bring a smile to somebody's face. But then I also do serious ones. I'll do a field of poppies. People have bought those because of their relation to veterans and the war. As a whole, I tend to try to just, I think, portray an emotion in my work.
I was going to visit my parents, and so I pulled up into their yard, and there they were, side by side in the bean drill. And I thought, there is a rug. So I got my cell phone out, snapped a picture. When we got into the house, I said, look what I saw when I arrived. And he just laughed. And my dad said, no, that won't be on Facebook, will it? I said, well, it won't be on Facebook. Though I did submit it to a rug hooking magazine. So they would have been married 69 years this year. So it's emotional for me that Dad passed away and Mom's picking the beans by herself. Growing up, my mother was always handy, and she learned to knit on string with spikes when she was 10 at her father's general store in Harrington. So she could knit and have a game of Scrabble and have a conversation and watch TV all at once. She was a multitasker. I remember one year she was making our doll clothes, and after Christmas, finding the fabric in her little cubby where she had her remnants. My mother had fabric that Santa had made clothes out of. It was a little bit horrifying at the time. I had just started rug braiding. Well, we went to Florida, and I thought, well, I want to take enough that's going to keep me busy while I'm there. So I used the vacuum bags, you know, that you put your stuff in and you suck all the air out. And I had enough wool for about 7 rugs, and I had it in the cupboards all around the upper cupboards in my camper. And I thought, well, we're well insulated against heat or cold. We had to isolate for 2 weeks when we got home. And I thought, perfect, I'm not going to be asked to babysit. I'm not going to be asked to come over for dinner or to do something for the church. I'm just going to sit here. And I think I knocked out 3 braided rugs in that 2-week period.
I think I've just always appreciated those beautiful embroidered pillowcases and tablecloths. You know, when you got married, that was always just part of the gifting, right? So there was an appreciation for those arts back then. And I think that appreciation is coming back. We're all at a point now, COVID's made us, I think, rethink things in life and you know, just kind of evaluate, are we too busy? Can we kind of just sit and learn to appreciate the moment? And the nice thing about the fiber arts is that it gives you that space. There's no rush. You can just kind of do it at your own pace. That kind of slow sense of artwork versus mass producing something.